Hello, everybody. It's been a bit of a while, hasn't it, Ian?
It has. Yeah,
It
been some time.
has. Yes, it has. So it's Wendy and Ian here from Cloud 2020, and thank you for joining us again for another one of our little chats, I guess. So today we thought we'd talk about the changing landscape, really, of the Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform, and how that's impacted in terms of the complete range of solutions now that you can get to help take care of your business, that's using either the Dynamics 365 platform or the Power Platform, i.e. a third-party ISV built
Yeah,
Power App. So
yeah,
I think it might be good to just explain a little bit about what that difference might be. Is
yeah.
it only licensing, Ian? You know, that
Oh, yeah. For fear of sounding like some old soul, if you go way back to when we first started with this, Wendy, it was you had two choices. You could either buy s- Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM or
mm,
you didn't.
yeah,
That was it.
nothing else. Yeah,
And you got sales, and then you got customer service, and that became the customer experience license, which then got split out. You could buy sales, you could buy customer service separately, and then it started to evolve from there. So that was the kind of the history of Microsoft built apps sitting in what was then Dynamics, now the Dataverse, of course. And
mm,
that's then expanded. So those first party apps, sales, marketing, customer service, field service, finance, operations, HR, etc., built by Microsoft.
yeah,
However, and I think the valid point you're making is there's massive alternatives now. There's a
yes,
whole range of alternatives, and obviously the key resource is app source to go on there and see what's available. But also talking to people like us, we've got experience of these things. It's really what is it you want to achieve? What are your challenges? What are you trying to do? Is it sales? Is it customer service? Is it time management? Is it projects? There's a load of third-party solutions out there, very cost effective, very straightforward to deploy, customizable because they sit as a power app, and therefore partners like us can very quickly adapt them to fit. And we've got some classic examples of that we could look at.
mm,
But it really does change the whole landscape. Absolutely. So it's really about don't look at the product. What is it you're trying to achieve,
yeah.
and take it from there. And then how broad are your requirements?
Yeah, thank you for that. And obviously, there are differences in the licensing for that. And that means there are different entry points for businesses between, large to small, basically, that can actually get on board with the Power Platform, with using that all of that great security that you get with using the Dataverse, and then also the fact that your accounts and contacts are the same regardless which
Yeah.
workload you're working with. And all of those kind of really good things that are part of the Dynamics platform are actually also part of a Power Up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very valid point you're making there. So when you think about if you buy into the Dataverse or the biz apps scene, for want of a better term, you are buying into that security. So it sits in Microsoft data platforms, data centers, the connection to Exchange for your tasks, emails, appointments, the collaboration through Teams, and of course these days Copilot as well. I mean, you get that as part of just buying in. No matter how simple the app might be, if it's a
Yeah.
model driven app, you can get all that. And I think that I mean, classic example. Yesterday, I had a one-person startup talking to us, and my immediate thoughts were, do you know what? This all probably going to be too big, too complex, too expensive for you.
Mm,
Actual fact, there was a product out there from a partner that we work with very closely that is about customers. So it's accounts and contacts, it's leads and it's opportunities, it's small case management, not full blown customer service, but case management. It had sales orders in there. This person could track what the status of those sales orders were. So it's not invoicing, but you could see whether you've been paid, what have you, at a very small scale. And the reason that she she insisted on buying in, even though she's a one-person startup, was because it gave her the security. It was in Microsoft, and she got all those benefits. And she could see, though, her ambition was to grow dramatically, and if she did that, then she could grow into this amazing, amazing ecosphere of products and platforms and partners and what have you. She could see stuff fitted for her, which is exceptional.
Yeah, and I think when we do talk about smaller businesses taking on sales, we understand that sometimes the Dynamics 365 licensing is a bit of a problem in terms of it's a bit aspirational in terms of entry point, but with some of these power apps, then they can actually get that full function without having to pay that full price. It isn't the same beast, but it has a lot of those qualities. So the security, the connectivity to the other applications within the Microsoft 365 stack, and the fact that it's scalable as well. I think that's a really important thing when we're talking to smaller businesses, certainly. And I know that it's not just sales we're talking about there, is it? I mean, you mentioned case management, which actually is slightly I mean, when we were first looking at Dynamics 365 CRM, there weren't cases in that. That was in customer service, which came later. But now you can actually see cases within Dynamics 365 sales out of the box. And that's just considered part of your kind of account management. You want to know if a business that you're looking after from a sales perspective, if they're having issues, and if they're having regular issues, then you want to know that before you get on the phone to them and ask them to buy the next shiny, whatever that might be. But there are very specific applications, aren't there, that would take care of things like case management, which you mentioned earlier.
I think a couple of key points you made up about there. This whole thing about you get on the bus and you can go different places with it. So accounts and contacts are primary entities within the Dataverse. So if you start off with a third-party application, but your accounts and contacts are in there, if you then move up into perhaps Microsoft sales, Dynamic sales, that's fine. The accounts and contacts go with you. They're part of that. Now, I agree with what you're saying. To some smaller businesses, the upfront cost of some of these apps looks prohibitive. I would argue against that, actually. I mean, I would never discourage somebody from going in at an entry level. In fact, we're talking again with a customer yesterday. They have great expansion plans, but in terms of what they want to do, but they have to, for financial reasons, start small. That's great. So we're giving them a little entry point. Get in there, get some usage out of it, get some benefits, get some cost savings, get some efficiencies, add another piece, move on, and so on. But in actual fact, if you look at the cost of something like Microsoft Dynamics sales, it's equivalent to the cost of a Starbucks coffee every working day of the month, right? If you assume it's about 22 working days a month. Now, I don't think that's very expensive when you think what it can do. But to get it to do what it can do, you've got to invest time in setting it up. So time in setting up your lead opportunities, your sequences, your make sure your dashboards are responding the way you need them to respond. Getting used to the platform, but if you do that automation that's built into customers into sales or in Dynamics, that's worth every penny and more. And now you're bringing Copilot alongside it. That is such a game changer for a small business. You can literally, we've always said before, you can punch at the weight of enterprise customers, competitors. You can seriously do that now because a lot of that mundane stuff is just done for you by Copilot. Creating email responses, all that kind of good stuff, analyzing your opportunities and leads. That's all done for you. However, a lot of it is around the mindset of the individuals and the companies, what they want to achieve at that time, what makes them feel comfortable, and then building it up from there.
And I guess I think those are really good points there, Ian, and you know, you have to put the cost of the licensing into that type of perspective, really, isn't it, in terms of value. But one of the things we know about smaller businesses, perhaps, is one of the things they don't have a lot of, it is time as well. So obviously, going in with a kind of entry level app that possibly doesn't have a lot of that, the frills and the bells and whistles, it means it's a quicker onboarding and a very quick journey to return on investment as well. So that might be one of the ways that it will work for them. I think I'd also like to mention that the fact is it's this integration piece, isn't it, that is also so valid as a part of this whole kind of Power App boom that we're seeing now. And that is that actually you can still have connectivity, you can still have interconnectivity, even if you are using Power Apps rather than Dynamics 365 Sales or the HR solution, for example, because of the sitting on Dataverse and also the value of the Power Automate flow, all of those things that are actually part of this whole Power Platform.
Yeah. The use of Power Automate Flow is incredible. So it, you know, once upon a time you had to buy specific integration tools and things like that. Now you don't.
Yeah.
You know, over 400 characters now. It may be way beyond that. You've got to check it every day, but you know, just the ability to manage those data flows and the security around it as well, with Power Automate Flow is phenomenal. You know, it really does make a difference. And again, you've got, you know, if you've got, particularly you're bringing customers new into the environment, we come across it where there's some very embedded, old school platforms out there, and they are, you know, they're not going to get rid of them overnight. They want to get into the Microsoft stack initially, but that little product over there, it's been there for years. It's not going to change. Fine, okay, but we can't connect to it very easily, and what have you. So therefore, we've got things like robotic process automation, where we can actually simulate a human being copying and pasting from one platform to the other. So we can bypass the integration piece as if we were a human being, but that's fact not employing a human being to do it. And that simple process, it's massively cost effective, but it also brings customer into the ecosphere whilst retaining those little gems of product platform that they're not going to move away from on day one. And once they get convinced, then we can go back and go, let's get this thing now in a more secure scenario, get it in a better, in a more modern platform, so we can do more things with it for you, but bring it into the fold. Yeah.
I think that is a really good place to finish, Ian, with regards to the integration piece and the power of the Power Platform. I think we really just want to say that there's, you know, don't discount looking in AppSource for third-party apps which are built and verified by Microsoft as working with the Power Platform, so that you will get all of that security. But if that seems like a bit of a forest out there and you're not quite sure where to look, it is slightly USA skewed as well, I think. So you do get a lot of the USA partners coming up first when you put in your requirements into the search. Then just come and talk to us about it. We've got a range of products which can help automate your business, from sales, customer service, marketing, HR solutions, looking after your assets, project management, all of that, everything that you need within a business, whether you're large or small, we have an app for you. So just contact us and we'll be very willing to help you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for your time.